I am Johnny, and I'm the Channel Sales Director for Integricity. So I hope that this morning everyone is in good health. As you know, the MCO extended, so let's make this time to actually understand more about the solutions that we have here for you. All right. So just to let you know that Integricity has been conducting a series of solutions, webinar solution. All right. And we started off with products like the Kaseya VSA Lite, Kaseya VSA, and then followed on by WebRoot. And now, today, I'm going to present on the kaseya-unified-backup solution. All right. Okay. So just let you know the flow of today. All right. So basically, I will present the solution, the Kaseya unified backup solution, followed by my colleague, as you can see over here, Aaron. He's our senior engineer for the Kaseya solutions. All right, so he will show you the demo of the product itself, and then after that we'll go into the Q&A session at the end of it. All right, so this webinar will take about 45 minutes. I think it may be even earlier a bit. All right. So without further ado, let me just share you my screen so that you can see the presentation, and I will start off from there. All right. Oh, by the way, just to let you know, if you have any questions, you do feel free to actually key in at the chat box below. Melissa, our colleague, will actually take down your questions, and then towards the end, it will be posted to us, myself and Aaron, and then we will answer your questions over there. All right. Okay, so let's start with this morning with the Kaseya Unified Backup. Let me just share my screen here. All right. Right, I guess you all can see my screen. Okay, so this is the Kaseya Unified Backup powered by Unitrans solution. If any of you all heard Unitrans, basically Kaseya bought over Unitrans, and this is a business continuity and disaster recovery solution. Right. So before I go deep dive into the solution, some of you all may be new to our organization, Integricity. So let me just share with you about Integricity history. Right. Okay, Integricity has been a leader in the system management automation in the country, and started in the year 2000. Currently, we have presence in three countries, and we are the exclusive distributor for the Kaseya solution in Malaysia. All right, and to give you a background about the Kaseya, well, Kaseya is actually from the word, the Native American Indian word means secure and protect, and it was founded in the year 2000 in Florida. And also it has 43 presence in 43 countries. Right. So before I deep dive the solution as well, let me just share with you the landscape and some statistics on the backup and recovery, or I would say business continuity and disaster recovery. Right. Now, if you look, this is a statistic done by Unitrans. Despite achievement in backup, data loss is still very high. All right, you can see over here, we did a yearly survey and found out that 4 years in a row results stayed roughly the same. All right, in terms of the number of data loss, the level of data loss, right? But if we just purely look at outages, right, regardless of data loss, right, it's even a bigger impact. You look at it, about 42% respondents saying that they have outages within a year. And this was last year, 2019, right? And when you talk about backup or disaster recovery, right, you always think about natural disaster, right? Now, if you look at the statistics over here, this shows you that it's due to other issues more, right? And you can see over here, human error, software failures, and server room issues tops the statistics over here, right? In fact, natural disasters is only account to 4% of the total cost of issue or failure, right? And the other part is you look in terms of cybersecurity or cyber crime. is growing, right? You can see over here, comparing on first Q of 2018, compared with first Q of 2019, there were 105% increase in ransomware, right? At the same time, the amount paid by per incident went up to 93%. That is nearly 4 times the rate, right? And in fact, if you heard the news and so on, during this MCO period and across the globe, we are expecting the cybercrime to increase even further, right? Now, what do company look for in a disaster recovery solution, right? And most importantly is about the speed of restoration. I repeat again, the speed of restoration seems to be the top list why people look for a disaster recovery solution, right? And because why? We know downtime costs millions, and the faster you get up your system up and running, the less damage you incur, right? And sometimes it's not just about that usual recovery due to a failure, right? But it's also things that you need. Example, disaster avoidance, right? Basically, you spin up your image ahead of time. You know something is going to happen. Like example, give you one example, the MCO, everyone had a notice, right? Like 2 days notice or so, the MCO is going to happen. So you all quickly, spin up your DR plan and so on, right? And the second one would be on the DR testing, right? You need to test your DR, correct? So that is to verify whether you meet your recovery point objectives or your recovery time objectives as well, right? And the third one is for patch testing. Imagine Microsoft release a patch or any other software patch that you have, right? You might want to test it out in a test environment before you actually push it out, right? So this is where sometimes people recover an image and then you test it there, you see it works. If there's no problem, then okay, then you go on to your production environment, right? And also it could be other security use cases out there as well. With this, I want to introduce to you the kaseya-unified-backup, part of Gartner Magic Quadrant Disaster Recovery as a Service. And this KUB solution is all-in-one business continuity and disaster recovery in the box, right? Let me go further and share with you. And just to give you another background, it's also used by some of the Fortune 500 companies. This include, like you can see over here, Pepsi, Novartis, even the US Army is using it as well. And in the Asia Pacific region, you have the Philippines that's using it. These are some of the companies in Philippines. You have the Prudential Guarantee as one other example here. All right. Now, there are 4 things I would like to share with you about the Kaseya Unified Backup or KUB, and I want to highlight these 4 things, right? The first thing important is the speeds of restoration. Now, let me show you an example here, right? You have, let's say, a HR system running on a VM, and also then you have, let's say, a retail application running on a physical server, and you have a web portal running on a Linux, right? So what happens here is that once KUB is configured, you start creating backup image of the application, right? And then if, let's say, give you an example, if let's say touch wood, something happens, your server goes down, right? Simply boot the backup up in the KUB appliance itself, all right? In the KUB appliance itself, then you'll be up and running within minutes or 2, right? This is for Windows based or Microsoft based servers, right? However, for those who are running on Linux or other OS, once the application goes down, you simply deploy the backup on the standby server, and within minutes, you can spin up the VM as well, right? So this is how we can achieve the speed of restoration within minutes, okay? Now, so yeah, this is the example here. You just restore it into your device, your standby server for the Linux base, all right? Now, I'll give you a second scenario. The second point actually I want to share is on the disaster recovery scenario, right? Now, when you look at this, let's give me an example. Give you an example here, right? You have a head office in Kuala Lumpur. That's where your office, and your DR site is in Cyberjaya. All right. So as you can see, there's two boxes here. So this is an example if you purchase two kaseya-unified-backup boxes. All right. So you have it in the office, in the head office in Kuala Lumpur, another one in Cyberjaya as your DR site. Right. So once the DR office become non-operational, what you can do is actually you simply boot your applications, all right, and applications at the DR site, and you are up and running within minutes as well, right? You can also have an option if let's say you do not have a DRC center, all right, what you can do is actually you can purchase the KUB, the Kaseya Unified Backup KUB with the cloud storage facilities as well. So there is a subscription for it if you prefer that way. So you do not need to purchase two boxes, right? The third option, the third feature that I want to share with you is automated testing, all right, to ensure that or to guarantee your copies of backup, right? So in terms of testing here, most company falls into two groups, right? So those who admit that they don't test as often as they should, right? And the other group that who does not admit that they didn't test as often as they should, right? So testing, as we know, is an integral and often overlooked aspect of the reliability of disaster recovery solution, right? We know that regardless how good your whole entire DR solution or your business continuity solution, right? Your backup is only as good as your copy that you have, right? So automated testing is very important, right? This is to show you how it works, all right? With KUB, you can back up it automatically, and then it also tests it out, as you can see the screen over here, all right? So this actually takes away a lot of tedious daily tasks of testing or human error, like people forgetting, or you know, maybe your backup engineer just went on leave and so on. So these are the things that the system can do it for you without you know, to automate your life as well, right? Okay. The fourth one is actually on the malware detection, right? So malware, example like ransomware, right? So these are the things that you want to detect early, and you know, so that when you restore back, all right, you can restore back the right copy without, you know, wasting your time restoring a few copies to find out which is the right copy that is not infected, right? So with the Kaseya Unified Backup, you are able to determine, and you can go and roll back to the state where the ransomware has not attacked yet, right? The other features I want to share, so those are the four main features, right? The speed, the disaster recovery, the automated testing, and also the malware detection, right? There are many other features in the KUB solution, all right? Example over here in terms of the support over 250 plus over OS application, the hypervisor. You're looking back at OS like back in Windows XP's era, and even so on, right? You have various type of Linux servers that even it does allow the backup, or even Mac as well, right? And we allow you to do any-to-any backup, so you can backup physical, virtual, NAS, SAN, you name it, we can cater for it, right? So you have one single solution to back up everything all into a single point, right? Rather than have multiple type of backup solution to cater, or one, you know, example, one backup solution to cater for your physical, another one for your virtual, another one for your SAN storage. So we have a holistic solution here for you, right? The other one is adaptive deduplication. So basically, you're looking at the ratio of 20:1 deduplication ratio, right? So this is actually to, you know, if let's say there's multiple of the similar copies, they will actually combine it to reduce the size as well. Right, so that's all I have on the Kaseya Unified Backup in terms of the presentation of the solution. I guess you can understand it's very simple, very straightforward. It's all in one solution. You don't need to involve so many vendors, right? You just involve one single vendor, all right? And with this, I would like to pass this time to my colleague, Aaron. As I mentioned earlier on, Aaron is our senior technical engineer on the Kaseya solution, and he's even certified for the kaseya-unified-backup implementation as well. Right. So Aaron, we're going to show you the demo of how it works. All right. If you have any further questions, do type down at the chat group there, and Melissa will take down the questions, and we will answer it during the Q&A session. All right. So without further ado, let's pass this time to Aaron. Aaron, take it from here. All right.
Thank you for the introduction and the great presentation. Let me introduce myself just a bit. My name is Aaron. I'm, as mentioned, the engineer of Integricity. So technically, I do a lot of technical stuff, like from configuration of PSA to webroot to KUB. So I'm a backup person. So I love to do backup, even in my personal files and personal configuration. I always do backup. And my best practices is every time there's a local backup that's away from my computer, and there's a cloud backup that's away from this country as well. So in case of anything, in case that any of my files locally are gone missing, I still have 2 copies. So that's why I'm excited here today to show you guys about this product KUB. So let me share my screen here so to show you guys how this KUB interface looks like. Okay, so KUB, it's an appliance. It can be appliance based, which is will be like a server. It could be a 1U or 2U, depending on the sizes, the capacity we have. And then what we do is that we deploy the application on in the server rack, which is the same network as your server that you plan to back up. So once you have configured that, you just basically boot the machine up and then set an IP address for it. Once you set the IP address, for in this case, we have a 48.8, and then we can start to configure, you know what I want to back up and what are the things that I want to restore just in case. So over here, I have the option to configure the storage as well. So as mentioned just now, the storage we have brought to a few different cloud offsites. So the standard one, which is KUB, a device to the KUB cloud. And then of course we have the option to configure 2 KUB appliance, which one will be sitting on your local network, the other one on the remote, which is your DR center, which is away from your existing location. So usually the standard practice will be 10 kilometers away from your current physical location. At the same time, we have the option to, back up into the copy. We call it a copy, which allows you to back up to the various cloud location. So we have the options such as Google, Cloud Storage, Amazon, or Rackspace. So these are the archive, which let's say you need the offsite backup, you can store it in all these selected location to be as a storage. Yeah. So once we have that, we go ahead to configure assets. So assets are called your agents. So for instance, which are the servers you want to back up, which are the machine you want to back up, they are called assets in this case. So of course, we have a multiple backup option. My favorite one is the image backup. So let me show you the options of a backup. So we have file level, we have image level, VMware, Hyper-V, and NDMP, Nutanix. These are the options you are able to back up. SQL is one of it. So how do you back up SQL? Is essentially backing up the SQL database. So for instance, if the option is there, if let's say you do not want to back up the entire SQL server, you just want to back up a database, you can go ahead and select the SQL, select the SQL server. In this case, I think I have one. Yep, so you can select this SQL DB and back it up. So after you back it up, in case, let's say you accidentally make a wrong changes to the DB server or some DB tables, you can reverse the effect by restoring this DB and set it back on the database as well. So my favorite one would be the image level. So the image level allows you to back up, like Windows backup, they backup the entire Windows, the system image as well. So what benefit can I have over this image level is that if I restore, I can boot the entire image up as if I'm booting up a new computer, which I'm going to show you on the later stage on the restore option. So let me go ahead and create the protection rules. So when I back up image level, I have the option to set inclusion or exclusion. So for example, if I back up the entire OS, I might have a USB stick or external hard drive that I do not want to back up. Those are just temporary. I can, exclude those drive or exclude certain folders as well to, do not back up those. Then you can set exclusion as well. Yep. So then after that, you have the schedule option. I usually go for incremental forever, but of course the first backup is always the full backup, and then the incremental, which is any changes that I make, they'll back it up. Okay, so I can set the recurring backup, so I can go as low as 1 minute each backup. So that will affect your recovery point objective, like how much of data, how long of data worth that you're affordable to lose. So that will depends on what's the frequency of your backup. So I usually recommend to go per hourly instead. So I can set, like, to save space, you can configure your custom backups. So for instance, Monday to Friday is my working day, and this is the day where people make changes. So I'll start, let's say, around 7 a.m. Let's say my staff start working at 7 a.m. and then if let's say they are off at 10 p.m. So I put at 9:59 p.m. That will be a last backup. So this will help you to configure the time to save space so that you do not need to keep constantly backing up. Yep. So you can even configure a custom schedule, like for example, when to do a full backup. If let's say for Saturday, I just want a full backup on Saturday, I can drag and drop, select the time, 5 a.m. These are all customizable schedule, and the rest of the day incremental backups. So essentially it's try to help you to do like storage management. So you check whether it's a full backup necessary or incremental necessary. Depends up to your schedule and free for you to customize. Yep. So once we have saved, we will start backing up according to schedule. And once we have a proper backup, I'm going to show you guys the most interesting thing about the restoration. So in the traditional restoration method, we need to purchase a new computer, a new hardware. We need to extract the backup and then put it in external disk. I mean, to insert the CD-ROM and boot it up and then start to copy, paste, restore. Those are the methods which probably take around half an hour, or that's the most basic. I'm talking about the most basic. Windows 10, for example, approximately half an hour to 45 minutes. So imagine restoring a server. I recall the last time I had restoration to do without a proper backup. We need to take at least 6 hours just to recover a server from some sort of hardware failure. We need to boot up, install the new operating system on the server. We need to transfer the right files to the server and reconfiguration all the permission. So with these unit trends, we have the instant recovery. So once we back up, for example, the C3PO is my server. I have this latest backup point. The image, we call it the image backup. I just click instant recovery. So I have the option to recover in a different location. For example, I have the option to recover to VM, Hyper-V, or the appliance itself. Yes, you heard it right. The appliance itself, it's a server. So the appliance itself has RAM, the appliance have hard disk, the appliance have CPU, processing power. So this enables you to spin the machine in the Unitrend box itself. So let me show you the Unitrend box itself. So you have the option to recover in audit mode or in the normal mode. So the difference is that in normal mode, the network adapter is enabled. So you need to go in and configure the network setting. Whereby in audit mode allow you to disconnect the network and then do some other testing to see if the backup works. So usually if you just want to test your backup, you always select the audit mode to prevent IP conflict or network conflict. So let me select this and save. So within seconds, this recovery is spin up, so I can start to access this. As you can see here, the instant recovery is already started. So it's booting up the C3PO, the Windows itself, inside the Unitrend box. So to access it, I just need to go ahead and go to VNC Viewer, access that IP with a port, and there we have the Windows. It'll take some time for the drivers, VNC driver to boot it. So over here, I have the C3PO booting up inside the Unitrends. So in case of, real life DR or real life downtime, all you need to do is just log into the Unitrend, click on instant recovery, and then boot up the server, set the IP right, and all the user will just access it as if, there's a normal hiccup, a few seconds or a few minutes of hiccups, and they're able to re-access the server itself. So that allows you to have more time to, start to building the hardware, just in case, for example, like a hardware failure. So you can rebuild the hardware on your own time, and while the user are not, suffering from it, from the downtime that you are facing. So over here, I have my server booted up within seconds, and I can start to tell the user, hey, the server is back up, start to connect, and you can work in the background to start your hardware restoration or whichever it is. So once you have recovered your hardware and everything, remember that when you boot up these instances, the backup will still continuously running. So when you restore, you just need to restore the latest one through something called a bare metal recovery. So meaning is that you boot up your machine through the network and connects it to the Unitrend. The Unitrend will push the image back to the machine. So that's how simple it is. Yeah. So as you can see here, I'm able to bring the server back up within seconds, rather than the old traditional method that I need to, spend at least a few hours to bring up the machines and things like that. So yeah, the Unitrends really enable you to do this. Next thing I want to let you guys know is that you have the option to, encrypt your backup. So what does it mean by encrypting your backup? We all know once you back up and then you send to offsite, we are not sure whether, how secure is the sending of the offsite from one end to another. So that's why Unitrends have the option to encrypt your backups locally. And let's say when you transfer to the other site, it's always encrypted. So whoever gets your copy of your backup files, they cannot do anything at all unless they have the decryption key, which is only available to you. So how secure is this encryption key, you ask? Is that even Unitrends or us, we couldn't have access to those keys. Those keys are unique to you, and you need to keep it secure, because in the event that if you lost the key, Unitrends or us, we have no access to the key at all. So that's why this is how secure the encryption is. So that no worries if your backups are offsite, they are very secure if you are able to set like encryption. These are all options enabled inside the Unitrend. Okay. My favorite last bit of the Unitrend is that each of the jobs itself, when they back up, they do ransomware detection. So one of the common issues that, when you keep backing up, you're not sure, if the backups are containing some sort of ransomware and we're not notified. So when the ransomware hit hard and we need to restore, you find that, hey, the last 1 month of backup contains ransomware as well. So that essentially, kills my recovery point objective. My 1 month worth of data is gone. So with this Unitrends, it has a self-testing ransomware detection. Every backup it detects, it tries to run some sort of background check to see if there's any encryption ransomware happening in the background. If it does, it will send you an alert to say that, hey, your backup contains potential ransomware. So then you need to start taking action to stop your server, stop the backup, and then start to fix it, restore it to the last known point that does not have ransomware. So, and the best part is you can even do report, like for example, your backup protection summary, generate, let's say I'm going to put like the 1st of April. I can see the report and say like, hey, what's my backup? How many success I have? Essentially, we want to see the full green, but over here I have a few failed backup. Those are my testing. That's the reason why it fails. Yeah. So essentially, once the box are configured to the backup schedule, you tested the backup, you just leave it there. You do not need to configure too much to make it, the purpose is to make your backup simplified so that when you want to restore, it's easy, everything is easy. Yeah. And the best part is we have Unitrends portal. So we have the option to, allows you to, if let's say you have multiple appliances, you can set it to the portal to enable you to remote access to the portal. So allows you to see like, hey, what are the last known, if you can see the green backups are all good. I have a couple of failed backups. I can add multiple appliances inside. So over here at the moment, I only have one. You can add up depending on how many appliances you manage. So you do not need to VPN each time you need to access a certain box. Yeah. So that's the benefit of KUB. And overall, that's pretty much of what I plan to show you guys on the KUB demo. So hope you guys learned something today, and thank you all for your attention. Now I shall pass the time back to my colleague. Thank you.
All right, Aaron, thanks for the demo. I believe that it's very useful and helpful so that you know how the system looks like. It looks simple, or just click, drag and drop, and that information is all there, right? Okay, I just want to share with you all about the next thing. Let me just share my screen here. Oh. Sorry, let me just share my screen again. Yeah, so just want to let you know, I think the next question you might come in your mind right now is like, what's going to cost, right? How is the investment like, right? So just to give you an idea, all right, the investment of it. Okay, so our solution is actually a yearly subscription solution, all right? As you can see here, just give you an example on the device based on the storage, right? So we actually depends on your storage size, not so much on how many VMs or how many core CPU and things like that. So we depend on the storage size. So if you can see here, the storage size example, if let's say if you require to back up your data worth 2 terabytes, we recommend to actually double up your amount. So the device capacity should be a 4 terabyte device. Why? One is actually for the backup incrementals and so on. The second reason is actually also to boot the image of your server within the kaseya-unified-backup solution, right? So that is how it works. And just to share with you the pricing here, right? If you subscribe without the KUB or the Unitrends cloud solution, so what happens is that this is the price, all right, of the subscription per year, all right? So this is yearly pricing. You have a 3 years contract period, all right? And this is the retail price, okay? You can look to your resellers to get the more further details on the pricing, right? And if let's say if you need to subscribe to the Kaseya Unified Backup or the Unitrends Cloud solution, you have two options. One is actually on the 1 year cloud retention period, meaning it will keep and store 1 year of data changes in the cloud, all right? And another one is actually infinite cloud storage, right? So what happened is that it will keep all your backup copies since the day one you sign up with the Kaseya Unified Backup, right? So you will get the whole entire thing, okay? So these are the three options available. If let's say you decide to, because you have a DR site, right? So what you need to do is you want to utilize your existing DR, so you can get 2 boxes, 2 devices, and one in your office and then one in your DR site to replicate that into your DR site, all right? But however, if you don't have a DR site, no worries. You don't need to set up, you don't need to configure anything. Just get the cloud backup subscription, and then you will link it and you'll get all the facilities there, right? So just to give you an idea also, when you restore data, you got 2 ways of restoring your data, right? Or your image, right? So one is you restore within the appliance itself, all right, in the on-premise for quicker access. However, touch wood, if let's say your on-premise something happens, right, you can restore it inside the cloud, and then it will give you a VPN access so that you can access there and access your data over there as well, right? So there's two ways of getting those information, right? The best part is there's no initial implementation in terms of appliance cost, initial upfront appliance cost. It's all based on subscription basis. So this is more on your OPEX rather on your CAPEX, all right? So with that, I just wanted to share with you the pricing of it, so you have some idea how it works. Just to give you an idea also, right? You can use this box for, if let's say you are an SI or a reseller or MSP, right? You can use this box as an MSP solution for you. Meaning, if let's say you have a data center, you have multiple clients in your data center server rack, right? You have one of these box to actually back up all your clients' information inside that, right? So what you can do is this solution is multi-tenanted, right? So you can restore for your client, or even you can create a backup, sizing for your clients. So different clients have different level of backup space, right? So this is what we can do. And just to share you, so again, this is Kaseya Unified Backup, and it's powered by Unitrans, as I mentioned this now. Kaseya bought over Unitrans solution.